All right, welcome to the next video in the Basic Learning series. If you have already done so in your previous video, you should have already added the live person login link to your bookmarks right here. The next one we're going to have you add is the submission forms. Again, I will have the link to the submission forms page available to you within the description of the video. One thing I'll let you know, if you're watching this early on into your hire phase, you may not have a login to get in here. All ChatDrive employees are assigned a login and we can access this on our own. No outside source can access these submission forms. So if while you're watching this video and you decide to pause it and take a look at the submission form link while you're doing this, you might not be able to log in unless Paul or Brittany have already assigned you a login. So I'm going to try to go over everything as much as possible if you do not currently have one. You will have one eventually though. How these work is how ChatDrive works is we set up an appointment or follow-up with a prospective student for our colleges. If we have done that, then we have submission forms depending on which client that chat was for. So this block right here, the partner submission forms, is going to be the main block you use. And we'll go to one of our busiest ones, Concord Career College, right here. When you click on one of these links, it opens up a new tab, which each one of these submission forms is directly catered to each client. All right, they're for the most part the same, but there are some minor differences per submission form. For example, we'll get into it with another one because Concord does not have a calendar for a appointment time, and we'll get into why that's not there later. But each one, they'll have a campus of which one you select. They have several. They have 16 different campus locations. Appointment, consult, contact requested, follow up. We'll get into what these four mean later. The visitor's first name, last name. You'll also see here, if there's a little red star by each field, that means this has to be filled out in order for it to submit. So if you forget any of the ones that have a red star on it and you try to submit, it won't allow you. There's an error. Please fix before continuing. Okay, so it'll let you know. You can see every field here minus the additional notes is a required field for Concords. The first name, last name, email, and phone number, and as well as what program they want. Concord offers a large variety of programs. The device type. This is for our clients' tracking. They like to know what type of visitors come. Are they desktop? Are they mobile? Are they tablet? We'll get into how to know what those are in later videos, but these need to be filled out as well. Okay? And then obviously what chatter you are. I chat as Michaela. All right, that's a Concord. So let's show you one where you actually have to set a appointment. Let's go to South College, another busy one of ours. They don't have as many locations. They have Asheville, Atlanta, Knoxville, Nashville, and online. Follow up, same as Concord's, right? If you have scheduled an appointment for South College, what you would do is you would select the calendar and whatever day you scheduled it for. You'd say it's Thursday the 19th at 5 p.m. Okay, you'd have to fill that out. This is not a red asterisk one because if it's just a follow-up, it wasn't an appointment, so this does not need to get filled out. But when our client says appointment, then they're going to look for what time. All right, first name, last name, phone number, email address, program, They have a lot of programs. Educational background. Now, the Concord submission page did not have that. Most of our client submission pages do have an educational background option, so fill this out. Again, we have device type, chatter. Obviously, you pick yourself once your name gets added in here. The chat transcript, and we'll get into what chat transcripts are. It's basically just the entire conversation you had with the prospective student. Additional notes. Let's say there's a special scenario that you feel the admissions representative that gets this appointment or follow-up needs to know, because we've found that even though all the information is in the chat transcript, they don't necessarily read the whole thing, they just skim it. So if there's an important piece of information that the student had a concern about, you can put that in here and they'll be able to see that. It can be something as simple as like, student will be accompanied by his or her parents during the visit on March 19th. Just so that the admissions representative is aware who's going to be there with them. Like I said, each client has a little bit of a different type of submission form, but they're pretty self-explanatory. Once you do get your login, I would recommend taking some time and going through each one and seeing what is the requirement for each submission form. So when you get that chat, you know what to look, you know what questions you need to ask and stuff like that. For example, ICT. Most of our clients just want first name, last name, phone number, and email address. But ICT, they also want the street address, city, state, and zip. Okay, so if you have an ICT chat, when you ask for their first name, last name, phone number, and email address, say, as well as your mailing address, including city, state, and zip. ICT prefers that as well. And there's other ones that they'll want like CHCP here. They want the zip code of where the student was. Okay, they use this for tracking their marketing. So those are client submission forms. Miss Punch forms down here. We use a app-based clock in. If you forget to clock in at the beginning of your shift or forget to clock out at the end of your shift, you submit a Miss Punch form to correct that. If you need to request time off, you use this form right here. Okay. Get that translated. These are pretty self-explanatory. For time off, you can either use PTO or you're swapping a shift with another team member, which means you're not losing hours, but you're just taking off your scheduled time and you're swapping it with somebody else. All right, these are all pretty self-explanatory. Then we also have a student services form. These are customer service related chats where they're not able to be converted for admissions, but potentially, so let's just pick a client. Let's say, we'll go with Mildred Ellie. All right, you type in what campus. I'm just going to say NYC. Type of inquiry. So you can say career services, financial aid, help desk, transcript request, or other. A lot of times, it's going to be one of these four. It's rare you might have an other, but you use your discretion. You should be able to figure out what that's about. Get as much contact information of the person as possible. You'll notice there's no red asterisks because sometimes people just don't give all their information. So put as much information as you get in here as possible. You can summarize the chat and then put the chat transcript in there. All right. You don't have to worry about the chatter report. That's something that management uses to generate a report, so you don't have to worry about that at all. So that's what it is. Partner submission forms, Miss Punch forms, and student services. All right. Again, I will have this link in the description of the video, so make sure you add it to your bookmarks. Thank you.